Hello everyone, I'm Ben, and welcome back to the channel. It's been a minute, but that's alright. We're back because I saw this on my Twitter page, and I just couldn't, I couldn't just let this blow over my head. Steven Crowder made a video called "The Case for Fascism," where this is a 22-minute long video about, I guess, the pros of fascism. I guess he's making the case to have fascism. I don't know in America or in the world. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's going to make a case for fascism, which is going to be amazing to watch and amazing to listen to because I can't wait to hear him defend fascism. To preface this, I haven't watched the video beforehand. I got 9 seconds into it and had to leave the room because it was just ridiculous what he said at the beginning. And, you know, I don't know if I want to fact check this or I want to do something like that. I may do something like that. I'm not sure yet. Or we could just react to it and, go off of how ridiculous it is. I don't know yet. We'll see how it turns out. So, without further ado, let's start the video.
Even the bad fascists, they were a mistaken response to equally bad Marxists or leftists.
What? That's how you start your video? That's your coming up is even the good fascists were off of the fucking bad Marxists and leftists?
And Marxism, communism, has killed far more people, and it's not even close. It's not even close. How often do you hear the accusation of fascism?
A lot.
What do you think it means?
Mostly.
All right.
I don't know if he's going to do the actual definition of fascism. Let's pull it up so we can all be, so we can all have the exact same definition. That's the AI overview. I don't want that. Here we go. Fascism. A far-right, authoritarian, and ultra-nationalist political ideology. Fascism is characterized by the support of a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived interest of a nation or race. Usually it's a race. And strong regimentation of a society and an economy. All right. Basically, it's a dictatorship, mostly based off of a ultra-nationalist point of view or a racial hierarchy point of view. Let's hear what he says.
To begin with, communism, Marxism, socialism, responsible for at least 100 million deaths in the 20th century.
Where is he getting this from? The victims of communism. Sources available in the description. Okay. I'll let the video play, but I'm not going to let that one off the hook while we do that. Keep playing.
Seems to me that should be the starting off point for every semester of history, certainly economics, when you're looking at different socioeconomic systems. 100 million dead minimum to begin with. Makes it pretty hard to say, religion is the cause of all wars, right? 100 million dead, communism, that's the toll. Now, when action is taken to disinfect a nation, and sometimes I will admit, very radical action taken to deal with the root ideology and systems that have led to the death of 100 million people.
Before we continue here with the 100 million claim, it's originating largely from the Black Book of Communism, which counts dead Nazis as victims of communism. So, subtract the amount of dead Nazis from the equation because Nazis aren't people, and they shouldn't count to your kill count. I don't know how many Nazis they derive, but saying 100 million already is iffy. And if you shoot down a claim of millions of people already off of the fact that Nazis, I think that they're also probably going to attribute like famines and like different things like that to say that that's a killing of communist ideology. But you also have to factor in, if you're counting in famines and stuff like that, how about we do the kill count of capitalism? How many Irish people died because the UK just decided fuck Irish people in the Irish potato famine? That's not a famine. That's an organized fucking just genocide of Irish people. How many different capitalist countries have wiped out entire groups of people just for shits and giggles? And then let's add all of them into the kill count of capitalism. Anyways, continue, Crowder.
The left yells fascism.
Yeah.
The problem is fascism has been used historically, not in the way that you've been told. It's been used against communism because with communism, socialism, right, you vote them in, you have to shoot your way out. They don't leave.
Say that one more time. Oh.
It's communism because used historically, not in the way that you've been told. It's been used against communism because with communism, socialism, right, you vote them in, you have to shoot your way out.
How do you think the Nazi regime ended? How did we get independence from Britain? Mostly every revolution known to man has been violent. How do you think the French Revolution went against monarchy? Almost all successful revolutions have been violent. So yeah, if you want to overthrow a government, it's going to be violent. Also, by the way, the biggest country that was communist or socialist, the USSR, just dissolved itself. It didn't get overthrown by the people.
They don't leave.
They did.
Once they
left.
attain power, and they nationalize the means of production, distribution, which, by the way, is the goal of Marxism. So you've probably been taught, or maybe not even taught, you just have teachers point to historical examples of fascists, maybe even just one or two, and then go, see, fascism bad. Have you done a little bit more? Well, hold on a second.
He just said fascism bad. I 100% he's going to make the fascism good argument here.
We always want to ask why. It doesn't justify it, but the left, who is so willing to ask why when someone commits a heinous crime against an innocent person and is willing to fight to get them out of prison, which they also don't believe in, that's a part of Marxism, they're not willing to ask.
Dude, I know what is he going to... Oh, fuck. He's definitely going to make a justification for the persecution of, like, Jewish people or something. That's what he's going to go for.
Why? Someone may have risen to power with a mandate of the masses against.
He's going to justify persecuting people under fascism. I swear to God, if that's where he goes, I'm gonna fucking jump up and down in my chair.
Against the representatives of an ideology that has killed, again, 100 million people in the 20th century. So here's how we're gonna define fascism.
Okay.
The way the left does. Every time someone does something to prevent the left from completely subverting a nation or to try and reverse course. The left wants you to believe that fascism, not Marxism, not communism, 100 million dead, is the biggest, greatest evil threat in the world.
We are witnessing a fascist takeover of this country. And I really hope the Republican Party wakes up to that.
All power is vested in the executive.
I'm sorry, but going back to that guy, whoever this guy is, he's retarded. I don't know who you are. You seem intellectual in some sort of way. Yeah, the Fascist Party of America needs to wake up to the fact that there's fascists. Oh, really? Did someone let Donald Trump know that there's pedophiles in the government? Holy shit. My God, you've blown the case wide open. Someone tell the Republican Party that there are fascists in the government. Holy shit. Why didn't I think of that? Someone tell... Yo, can we go back in time and tell Hitler that there's Nazis in the German Workers' Party, please?
And I really hope the Republican Party wakes up to that.
All power is vested in the executive. It sure looks a lot like fascism.
Trump is literally a fascist. Point to one thing, ICE. Talk about everything Trump's doing that is fascist.
At this stage, we're pretty clear on the fact that Donald Trump fashions himself an authoritarian.
You know you're living in a fascist society when you're constantly going over in your head the reasons why you're safe. What we want is a country where none of us have to feel that way.
Because at the end of the day, we have a fascist in the White House.
It's not like fascism might come here. Fascism has already arrived.
All right. That one guy who said, we want a country where everyone feels safe. I don't.
By the way, I've never listened to Steven Crowder before. Actually, confession here, guys. I used to watch Steven Crowder when he did like the there's only two genders. The like sitting in the middle of a university campus and just like debating little kids. I say little kids, debating like these college kids, because like he was basically like Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk came on the stage, and like he's the less successful version of Charlie Kirk because he stopped doing that and just now he's doing his daily show where he promotes, you know, random creatine gummies or whatever the fuck. Anyways, keep talking.
By that, I don't want communists to feel safe.
I stopped watching it because I didn't agree with his fucking ideology when I realized what he was actually talking about.
I don't want people who share the goal of subverting and destroying this country. They're not, just to be clear, Marxists and those in the American Communist Party or the DSA, they don't seek to destroy America because it's fascist. They've always sought to destroy America because it's not Marxist, because it's not communist. It doesn't matter who's in power. They want to bring us to, I don't want those people to feel safe. I don't want those people to rest easy. I don't want them to create a coalition and turn this into every single communist nation that has ever existed. Let's go through some historical examples here. One that's very commonly pointed to. And just to be clear, this does not mean that I am supportive of or justifying everyone in the fascist response, right? Everyone involved with that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to provide you with some historical context.
Can I just say real quick, I don't align myself with the American Communist Party because they're a bunch of do-nothings, I believe. But the American Communist Party does not want to destroy America. And he's going off of this, like, tangent about how they want to destroy America by, like, introducing communism and stuff like that. When, how do I say this? The foundation of these movements here are to better America under different ideologies. No one's ideology is I hate America, I would like to dismantle and ruin the entire nation, except for what? Maybe accelerationists? Except for guys in like splinter cell agencies that want to like overthrow the government or whatever, the like domestic terrorists who are usually right-leaning. Anyways, no one's ideology is destroying the country. Even fascists. If there is American Nazi parties, the American Nazi parties don't want to destroy America. They would like to take over America. They want to have their ideology as the form of government of America. Same with the American Communist Party. It's just your ideology, all right? Everyone says that everyone says that their enemy wants to destroy America. It's just the way that America is and how you think America should be is defined as your ideology. And the opposite ideology, you will, as a knee-jerk reaction, want to say that they're destroying America, when they have their own goals and how they want to define America. So it's just a matter of perspective of how you would like America to be. And how America should be is defined on your ideology. Now, my ideology is the most beneficial good for all the people in the nation, which I would find under democratic socialism or something along those lines. Everyone has parts of different ideologies that they like. Something in the DSA that I don't support. I don't know their stance on guns, but I'm a very big pro-gun advocate. And I don't know if the DSA is or not, or the ACP is. But I know the Democrats are not. So that's a problem that I have with the Democrats of America. The Democrats of America? The Democrats. Everyone goes by of America now, so I need to say it.
So case one, Chile. The story you were likely told, if at all, 73, far-right military dictator, Pinochet. You've heard this term a lot. It's become just a kind of a shorthand insult for a fascist. Pinochet ousted a democratically elected Allende after a coup. Here, we see this from The Atlantic. The ultimate lesson of the 1973 coup that brought in General Pinochet's dictatorship was that the people would not, in the end, be denied their choice. Foreign Affairs in there, it says, Chile once boasted a longer history of stable democratic rule than most of its neighbors in much of Western Europe. Now it is the last major country on South American continent to return to civilian government after a wave of authoritarianism. All right. So Pinochet came in, oh my God, here's the reality.
Doing a nerd voice while talking about fascism is crazy.
From 1970 to 73, do you know what created Pinochet? It was the Marxist Salvador Allende. Far left Unidad Popular Coalition. I'll just say it, Unidad Popular Coalition. Socialists, communists, radicals. So what were the results, by the way? Why do you think Pinochet is still popular today? You can't poll it officially, but Pinochet was immensely popular. Also left, by the way. Left of his own volition, which fascists don't tend to do. So why? Why would someone who was a military dictator, why would he come to power? Well, could it be because the socialist Marxists before him had inflation up 1,600%? Wages were down 35%? Wow. The socialist Allende responded with these price controls that, by the way, created an entire black market and enabled crime cartels. Basic goods were selling for like 142% over normal prices on the black market. So what happened was Pinochet, with overwhelming support, could have been anybody, let's be clear, went in and cleaned things up. Now, could you say that he went a little too far? Well, sure. Sure, he had a few communists who went for helicopter rides and we never saw them again. But if you weren't a communist, you weren't at great risk. Not whitewashing everything he did, as the left does with communists. But it was a response. So what did you see from 77 to 81? Average GDP growth was about 8%. Inflation fell to single digits from quadruple digits. Poverty went from 50% as a rate to 10%. Unemployment went from 15% down to 6%. And this cannot be stated enough. Overwhelming support. Pinochet. From the people for his reforms. It became known as the Great Chilean Experiment. By the way, even after he left power, they kept Pinochet's constitution. Did you know that? Well, I will say, as a byproduct, the natives of Chile did develop a persistent fear of helicopters that we're still working on. Apocalypto now.
I understand. By the way, for Pinochet, I just want you to know, like, those numbers that you gave were long-term numbers. It wasn't just like he did great for a short period of time and then it reverted back. These reforms seem to have held and had long-term great benefit for the country.
Yep. And by the way, they don't always hold.
No.
But it is important to note that typically when you think fascist, you don't think someone who comes in with a mandate of the masses and improves the lives for everyone.
Or leaves office.
Right.
That's a weird one.
Right.
Usually get rid of elections.
Right. Yeah. And I get it. Some people went on helicopter rides who shouldn't have. Okay. You think nobody else was being targeted under the socialist Marxist government? Have you looked anywhere in South America and see there's always a coup? There's always a coup going on. Right now, so I guarantee you there's a coup. If it's not going on out in the public, it's being planned. Someone's planning a coup. There's a coup meeting. Let's look at another case study. Brazil. A story you've probably been told. 1964 military coup overthrew democratically elected President João Goulart. The reality? Well, look, this president, the policies destroyed, as we saw before. You know, if it didn't take part in killing 100 million people as the rest of communism, well, inflation at about 100% was pretty bad. GDP non-existent, literally less than 1%. Pretty bad. So what did he propose? Nationalizing foreign oil refineries, by the way, seizing agricultural land, granting voter rights to the illiterate because he knew he would never win an election again. He doubled down on all the policies that were making everybody's lives miserable. And so what happened was the military coup came to, quote, complete the mission of restoring economic and financial order to Brazil. 64 to 74, the economic, you look at inflation.
Did he just back up for a second? I know it may seem like an unpopular stance here, but I support voting rights for everyone in the nation. And he said illiteracy is the thing that disqualifies you from the vote. That is a little concerning, isn't it?
Was cut by 82%. You look at the GDP annual average rate, less than 1%. It went to 13%.
Wow.
Industry growth was up 30%. And again, the coup was supported by the people. So it's very different for people. When people hear coup, they go, a military dictator, a military leader.
Right.
When you live in a country that's been disarmed and a country that has been subject to actual corruption in a way that we don't know. This happens all across South America. There's nothing they can do, and so there can be a military to completely oppress and subjugate the people, or the military is used to liberate the people, or used with the support of the people. Either way, the military is being used because the people can't do a thing. That's what happened in Brazil. The people actually had a huge, it was called the March of the Family with God for Freedom. And that actually took place before the coup happened, and it celebrated the coup afterward.
There's only one surefire way to make mad gains, because a strict diet workout...
Shut the fuck up. I knew it. Selling creatine fucking gummies or whatever the fuck. Powder.
Here's a story you probably heard. Far-right Francisco Franco ushered in years of dictatorship after basically taking out the democratically elected government. This comes from The Guardian. Half a century on, the deeds and legacy of the man whose military coup against the Republican government ushered in a 4-decade dictatorship built around the authoritarian ideology of National Catholicism continue to haunt, divide, and confuse 21st century Spain.
Confused?
They're so confused in Spain.
Didn't they have a male Miss Spain?
They might have.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll find that.
What's the matter with you? Oh,
They're confused, all right.
Mister, what's the difference?
that's right.
Penis.
At this point, who is, well, as you know, in life,
Gotta add the transphobia in there.
a penis is hard to find.
Nice.
Name that movie line.
I know.
Careful! Gerald might try to finish you. All right. Here's the reality. 36 to 1939. You had this popular front coalition, communist, socialist, Marxist, right? What happened is they took power. They first mass released all of the other communist, socialist, Marxists from prison. So picture Arkham Asylum. They punished landowners and instituted all of these incredible draconian agrarian reforms, forced the wealthy to take their money out of Spain. They ushered in what you know as the Spanish Civil War. And the result was what is referred to as fascism, where Franco seized power, but brought some stability, including cutting inflation in half. They don't tell you that. Almost tripling the GDP. Foreign investment, trade expanded. All of a sudden, you actually had private business taking place. And what's funny is this actually encompasses the...
Immediately after the Civil War, most progressive laws were stripped, and the equality between sexes were nullified. Women could not become judges or testify in trial. Their affairs and economic lives had been managed by their fathers and husbands. They could no longer open a bank account. They had to be co-signed by their father or spouse. It was only until the 1970s where these restrictions were lifted. How about that? Wow. Strange. Homosexuality became a punishable offense under the penal code, where it was under the category public scandal, dishonest abuses, and crimes against honesty. Homosexuality became a punishable offense by incarceration in a military prison for up to 6 years. Wow. Wow. What do you think about that? Wow.
Anarcho-syndicalism of Catalonia, which they try and tell you about as a success. That's how you know they failed, when you ask someone to point to a successful example of communism or socialism. Like, oh, there are these groups that were pretty violent, but they were making it work most of the time in Catalonia. No, that's not true. And again, this was a...
Hold up. He talked about the stabilization of Spain, but from 1936 to 1947, it seems as though the Francoist Spain government designated supporters of the Spanish Republic liberals, socialists, anarchists, intellectuals, homosexuals, Freemasons, Jews, as well as Basque, Catalan, Catalan, and other nationalists were enemies under the White Terror. The White Terror has a range from 50,000 to 200,000. So hundreds of thousands were killed under a fascist death squad. Strange. You know, that is strange. Most victims were killed without trial in the first few months of the war. Their corpses were left on the sides of the roads or in clandestine and unmarked mass graves. In Valladolid, only 374 officially recorded victims were reported, but to the tune of about 1,300 were executed after a trial. In the nationalist-controlled city of Zaragoza, it refers to about 3,117 killings. Wow. It seems that when fascists take control, judicial branches just cease to exist, and they just go around killing people that disagree with them. And I think, oh wait, if no one's left to disagree with the fascists, and everyone is scared of dying, they tend to say that they are in support of the government.
Man who had a lot of support from the masses, including, yes, the Roman Catholic
Oh, I just said that.
Church and its constituents.
Yeah.
So if you have violence and violence, let's just really simplify it. All right, you have violence and you have violence. But in one case you have violence, starvation, and poverty. In the other case you have violence that stops mass starvation and poverty. You understand why the people of these countries don't share the opinions of the professors.
Yes.
Discussing history.
Yes. Fascist Germany had no poverty and no starvation, and was totally equal all around.
Historical cases of fascism.
That's very
Let's
good.
go to case 4, Bolivia. By the way, all the references for these links are in the description. I highly recommend that you read up on this a little bit more, especially Pinochet. That's a fascinating story to see the boom that we saw economically in Chile.
Corey talked about
so the story you've been told with Bolivia, 71, U.S.-backed dictator Hugo Banzer took power after a violent coup. By the way, there's of course truth to this. U.S.-backed. Do you guys understand?
Yeah.
Again, 100 million dead from communism, the 20th century, and there's always some communist turd swirling around in South America. So of course, we're going to have a vested interest and go, oh wait, is there someone who's anything other than communist? Because we don't want that on our continent. So yeah, it doesn't mean that it's just some crazy psyop. It means that there are countries that either were going to or had veered communist, and we kept our eye on it.
And it was almost always Russian-backed communism.
Of course.
It wasn't just communism like happened.
Right.
You know? So we were fighting a proxy war, essentially.
Exactly. Anyone out there who thinks that Russia, China, Iran, that they don't play favorites in international affairs, you're a silly person. So the real story is 71. Yeah, Hugo Banzer took power after a violent coup. Let's read this from Harper's. It says, Banzer's 3-day coup in August 1971 was significant not only for the fighting that accompanied it, which left 110 dead and 600 wounded, but for the 7-year regime that followed, one of the most repressive in Bolivia's history. Here's the reality. Okay. 52 to 1970, Bolivia had this crazy leftist revolution. They nationalized mines, oil, a lot of land to be clear. So very similar to what you see in places like Cuba, right? What they don't tell you is not only the people killed, but before you had a military coup. Let me ask you this. How do you think you nationalize mines, oil, or land? The government takes it.
You kill the leaders of those agencies. You kill the owners of all of the places, and you take them over.
People, they willingly give it up.
Or you buy them out.
They're tired of dealing with them themselves.
Right.
It's hard.
So that means guys with guns come and take it away. And very often, you can go click these links. They don't list that as the same violence, or they don't put it in the same category as the coup that followed it. So they'll just mention like, well, they instituted policies. So when men come in and take your stuff, take your private stuff, your personal stuff with guns, it's a policy. When men fight those people with equal guns, oh, it's a coup. So you see the scam that's being played? Then 70 to 71, you had it was a leftist Tory seized power, crazy, even more radical government, leftist government. And they basically replaced what you know as Congress with a workers' Soviet. So the result was Hugo Banzer, staged a coup with the support of a huge percentage of the population who were helpless and could do nothing. And what were the results? Well, you saw GDP double its historical average. You saw prices stabilize. You saw a foreign investment boom that you had not seen at any other point. So again,
yeah, and then you see the repression of torture in his 7-year rule. Over 14,000 people were arrested without warrants. 8,000 were tortured, and 200 were executed or forcibly disappeared. Huh. His regime participated in Operation Condor, a U.S.-backed network of South American military dictatorships that tracked, kidnapped, and assassinated political dissidents and leftists across borders. He was a fascist, as you're calling him, that worked with the CIA and the United States government in order to murder leftists so that communism and socialism wouldn't take over in South America. And I guarantee you probably more than one of these people that you're listing, because he's listing a lot of South American dictators here, that we call fascists. I don't know if you would call Hugo, what is his name? Hugo Banzer a fascist. Yes, I think he would. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see his actual ideology instead of his fucking random bullshit definition of random bullshit. It seems like he was just a military dictator, which is different. Being a right-leaning authoritarian dictator is a little bit different than being a fascist. Although you're not too far off. It's really not that far off. It definitely is the same. It definitely is a little bit different, excuse me. By the way, with such backing secured, Banzer emerged as a strong man in the new regime. On August 22nd, he was given full power as president. The past president, Juan Jose Torres, was forcibly taken refuge in Buenos Aires. 5 years later, he was then kidnapped and assassinated by right-wing death squads. His murder was a part of Operation Condor with the United States government. Banzer received political support from the center-right movement, I'm going to butcher this, the Movimento Nacionalista Revolucionario, or the MNR. So this person, they all say that they restore economic benefits and stuff like that. If you work with the United States government, yes, you're going to get a better economy because you have the strongest government in the world funding you. You're going to prosper because you are doing the bidding of a different country. You are becoming a puppet state of the United States of America. This is straight up imperialism by the United States. And sure, we're talking about fascism here, but some of these guys aren't even proclaimed fascists. They're just dictators that were put in place by the CIA. And Steven Crowder is basically just defending CIA fucking operations now. Like, that's all it is. I think the only non-CIA operation was the fascist government in Spain, which I just talked about, the White Death, or the White Terror, where he went around and just murdered people. An actual fascist does actual genocides. These petty little dictators can only manage to do their assassinations and their little death squads that they go throughout the country and kill people. It just so happens that the people that they're killing are leftists and socialists and communists, because that's who the CIA at that time in the 70s, 60s, and 80s wanted you to kill, was communists and socialists.
Policies. They nationalized list businesses here. And then there was a violent coup against it. Let me ask you, you think the violent coup might have included some people who had their shit nationalized?
I think when the CIA funds a revolution in your country, your revolution in your country will work.
So yeah, it doesn't mean that you should support every person with a fascist, moniker next to their name. But it also doesn't mean that it's accurate. And I think if someone says, well, look at the fascist, almost invariably, if you look throughout history, even the bad fascists, they were a mistaken response to equally bad Marxists or leftists.
Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking
And
die.
Marxism, communism, has killed far more people, and it's not even close. It's not even close. So rather than starting history at the response,
I'm gonna die.
Well, the left deliberately doesn't want you to look just a little bit further. Just do this. Anytime you hear about fascists, whether it's Pinochet, whether it's Panzer, take your pick, just rewind the tape by 2 years. 2 years more than whenever the person...
I really hope he starts talking about Germany now, where it's going to be like, oh yes, the socialist democracy of fucking Germany, the Weimar Republic, was crashing their economy or something like that. Please.
I'm telling you the story starting off. They start off in 64, just rewind it to 62. They start off in 71, just rewind it to 69. You'll go, oh, I get it. Doesn't mean it's right, but I get it.
Doesn't mean it's right. I'm just making an entire video defending dictators and fascists, but it's right. It doesn't make it right. I'm making a video defending fascism and dictators, but it's not right. Oh, but I get it. Yeah. That's the fucking situation we're in America. You realize that? We're in an economic crash. People are losing jobs. People are looking stranded towards the government, looking for solutions. So, of course, if some strongman comes in and says, I'm going to fix everything, they're going to back that guy. That's what Hitler did. That's what Mussolini did. That's what all of these dictators that this guy has been fucking defending this entire video have done. They've come in and said, we'll fix the economy. We'll give you all food. We'll make sure you're all fed. We'll make sure you're all housed. We'll fucking fix the entire situation. You just have to give me all the power, and then your entire fucking future is fixed. Well, guess what, buddy? That's not how it fucking works. This is just fucking insane. He is making the argument that even though these dictators aren't right, you can see where they're coming from. Yeah, you can see where they're coming from because we're living in it today. Fucking Christ. I mean, come on. Hitler came into power because the Weimar Republic was in the fucking toilet. The Treaty of Versailles was bleeding Germany dry. It was obvious that the economy was crashing like a fucking freight train in Germany. So yeah, a strong guy comes in and says, I'm going to fix everything, and the problem is that the Jews and the communists are doing it, and we need to kill all the Jews and communists. Well, he didn't say that. We need to get rid of all the communists and Jews and whatever. Yeah, the people are going to support you. This guy's fucking stupid. This guy is just placating to fascists.
Let me ask you this. What would you do in this country? What would you do in this country if you had an election, and I'm not saying that this has happened, to be clear, but if you had an election verifiably stolen, and then you had, let's say, the DSA come in, pack the courts, eliminate the Electoral College, legalize every single illegal alien in this country, and by the way, usher in another 20 million more, so that you would have socialism forever, and they would use that political capital and power to nationalize your private shit. think you'd support a coup? Or would that be too fascist for you?
By the way, you can't vote your way out of communism. At some point, you have to pick up a rifle.
Yep.
Like there's
USSR dissolved itself. Vietnam still working perfectly fine. China rivaling the United States. Well, you have to realize that they kind of collapsed their communist ideology behind the scenes. They're economically capitalist, but they just like to have the banner of communism. It's also a nice way for the United States to be able to paint a picture of how they're communist and that it's bad for you. Even though, you know, China is living a whole lot better than us right now, and they have a better quality of life probably over there.
just really no other way to do it. We used to know that. We used to have this understanding of how threatening communists and communism were to the United States.
How do you get out of fascism? Death or killing them all? How do you get out of fascism? Death or killing them all? You die or you kill them. Hello?
States, and now we're just kind of like, well, maybe they're not all bad.
In South America, historically, your choice is between a communist or a fascist. It's not just like, well, let's just let cooler temperatures prevail.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
Well, and these guys, you know, I hate the fascist moniker throwing around. What is there, like a 14-point, like here's what a true fascist really is, and there's a bunch of things that they have to meet, and almost nobody that they point to and claim is a fascist actually meets all of those except for Benito Mussolini, and that's about it. And I'm not even sure he met all 14. To be clear,
there must be one near the back.
Are you saying that Benito Mussolini isn't fascist? Fascist? Is that the road that we're taking here? Benito Mussolini isn't fascist?
Hey, but everybody tries to say, well, Trump is a fascist. Anybody you think has power is a fascist to you. That's it. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, because they can't stand power that's outside of their collective.
Exactly.
That's
Did Barack Obama
no one's
have
allowed
power?
to.
Did he force?
No, Barack Obama isn't a fascist. Do we need to go back to the fucking definition of fascism over here? We need to go back to this. We need to go back to it's an individual interest based off of nation or race, strong regimentation of society and the economy, opposed to communism, democracy, liberalism, what the fuck is that? Pluralism, and socialism. Who do you think in this video, now that we're talking about it, I didn't read that part there. Who do you think is so opposed to communism, democracy, liberalism, and socialism in this video? I just want to ask you, how many times has Steven Crowder and whoever this dork is said something about how bad communism is or how bad socialism is? Also, now Benito Mussolini is not fascist. The guy who made fascism is not fascist. Okay. I got it. Thanks.
Through things that the American public didn't want by bending, everybody's will to what he wants. Yes, of course. So was he a fascist?
Yeah.
Nah, he's just more of like an authoritarian. Oh, okay.
Excuse me?
Did he force through things that the American public didn't want by bending, everybody's will to what he wants? Yes, of course. He's a fascist. But everybody tries to say, well, Trump is a fascist. Anybody you think has power is a fascist to you. That's it. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, because they can't stand power that's outside of their collective.
Exactly.
That's
Did Barack Obama
no one's
have
allowed
power?
to. Yeah.
Did he force through things that the American public didn't want by bending, everybody's will to what he wants? Yes, of course.
Did Barack Obama bend? Say that again.
Things that the American exactly.
That's
Did Barack Obama
no one's
have
allowed
power?
to. Yeah.
Did he force through things that the American public didn't want by bending, everybody's will to what he wants? Yes, of course. So was he a fascist?
If we're talking about people in power who bend everyone's will to what he wants, Trump's approval rating has hit a record low in the third measurement of this week. Scroll down here. Yes. Here we go. Trump approval rating at 38% and a disapproval rating at 58.8. Yet still, by the way, we're doing everything he wants. We're doing everything his cabinet wants. We are making sure all of his policies are going through. The Save America Act is right on the fucking tipping edge of going in. Like, there is almost nothing that this guy can't do right now and get through with the people he has in power. His will is basically law right now, because he has all of his yes men in everywhere. Yet his approval rating is 38%. If we want to talk about people in the presidency who pass laws that the public doesn't like, we need to talk about Donald Trump, because he has the worst approval rating of all fucking time. Sorry. Continue.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just more of like an authoritarian. Oh, okay, so you like authoritarianism.
They wouldn't even say that.
Yeah.
No.
They wouldn't say that either.
What's funny is when people are like, why would you call him just because he's black? It's like, because he basically attempted to nationalize a fifth of the economy.
Yes.
So that would be, in other words, that would be a much more legitimate example of socialism than what you would say is fascism of Donald Trump, who, by the way, has opened up more speech on the internet.
Yes. From an economic standpoint.
Opened up more speech on the internet. Opened up more speech on the internet. All right. I want to do a quick little test here. Let's scroll on X for 5 scrolls on my mouse. 5 scrolls on my mouse. If nothing about Donald Trump shows up, I'll concede. 2 scrolls. 2 fucking scrolls. Keep in mind, I'm not following them. Keep in mind, I haven't engaged in this guy at all. Haven't engaged in this count at all. Literally took me, I was here, went down like this. 2 scrolls. 2 scrolls. Fuck's sake, dude. 2 scrolls. Opened up more speech about the fucking internet. Sure, buddy. Fucking sure.
Standpoint, is he fascist? No. Has he? They said that they've like consolidated all power in the executive. Are you kidding me right now? Do you see how many times judges go after him and how many bills he can't? He can't even get the Save America Act passed.
That's the only fucking thing he hasn't been able to do. He's been executive ordering fucking everything. Anything you can think of, he wants to do it. If it can be done with an executive order, he will do it. All right? It does not matter. All right? The only reason why that fucking bill hasn't passed is because it's unpopular even with Republicans, asshole.
Yeah.
He's a damn terrible fascist. If
He's
he
a
can't
fascist.
get stuff done.
He's a fascist who not only can't cancel elections, or isn't even attempting to, he's a
I just need you to find some votes for me. Yeah, he can't cancel elections.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find
oh, that's convenient.
11,780 votes, which is one more.
One more time. What? Is that just me? Or is that Donald Trump trying to rig an election? Hold on. I need to hear this again.
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
Mr. Secretary, was the president here asking you for exactly what he wanted? One more vote than his opponent.
What I knew is that we didn't have any votes to find. We had continued to look. We investigated, like I just.
I just need you to find more votes for me, real quick. I just need you to find more votes for me. And say that part again. Say that part again.
Passed.
Yeah.
He's a damn terrible fascist. If
He's
he
a
can't
fascist.
get stuff done.
He's a fascist who not only can't cancel elections, or isn't even attempting to, he's a fascist who can't even get us to require identity.
Excuse me? Not even trying to overthrow an election. Not even trying. Hey, why would he try to do that? I don't know what you're talking about, trying to overthrow elections. I have no clue what you're talking about at all. He hasn't tried to overthrow shit.
identification for elections, which, by the way, exists in other both semi-fascist and non-fascist nations alike, currently and historically.
Yes, you know, if he was a fascist, his Save America Act would be ending elections.
Right.
That's what fascists do. They don't go, hey, we need to strengthen and bolster this process. They go like, I just don't want to deal with that process anymore.
Well, like Pinochet, for example, he can someone give me the actual year when Pinochet left? Pinochet left.
Huh.
So
Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, whoa. You need identification to oh, what was that? You can't even pass that you need voter identification? Oh, wait, hold on, wait. I just heard something. All states except for North Dakota require voter registration before a voter can cast a ballot. Which is your fucking voter identification, in case you are fucking wondering. You have to register to vote. Me, on election day last year, in about November, my town was having a mayoral election. I registered the same day I voted. All right, I brought my ID in, I brought who I was in, I gave my information in, and I registered to vote, and I voted right there in front of them. All right? So what are you talking about? That you don't need an ID to vote? What, just because you don't show it? Actually, wait, you do show it, because I fucking did it, asshole!
Right.
That's what fascists do. They don't go, hey, we need to strengthen and bolster this process. They go like, I just don't want to deal with that process anymore.
Well, like Pinochet, for example.
Also, by the way, registering to vote may not be enough. In 38 states, majority of the states, if you don't know, half of 50 is 25 for Steven Crowder. 38 states require you to have an ID to make you cast your ballot. I'll take, for example, my state. My state is Connecticut. Connecticut requires photo ID to vote in person. If you don't have an accepted ID, there is another way to form to confirm your identity. Check below for your options. Oh, voting in person. I see. You need to show ID with one of the following. All of this here. Seems as though you need to vote with your ID. And if you don't vote with your ID, they will compare it to your other ballots. This is Connecticut, by the way. A blue state, ran by Democrats. This is our voting laws that Democrats voted in and passed.
He can someone give me the actual year when Pinochet left? Pinochet left. So that's the thing. He was like, all right, you guys don't want me to. He left. They go fascist because, I'm not going to lie, there were some journalists on those helicopters.
Yes.
But you have to understand those journalists were doing the bidding of communists. So I'm not saying that this is right, but when you have this unbelievable economy where even international economists are actually studying your country, the Chilean experiment, and you're reading your own publications, and every single one of them who supported the Marxist government before you is saying that inflation is, they're lying. You go, oh my gosh.
Augusto Pinochet. Well, how do you say it? Pinochet? Fucking
okay,
hell.
For you. And
Pinochet.
You're reading your own publications.
Pinochet left after losing a vote and then did not leave after he lost the vote. He then was pressured by the international and domestic community and then stepped down from the presidency, but took a lifetime Senate seat, only leaving in 2002 due to failing health measures.
And every single one of them who supported the Marxist government before you is saying that inflation is, they're lying. You go, oh my gosh, okay, I know what they're doing. They're trying to foment rage so that I'm the next guy taken out, and so you put them on a helicopter ride. Doesn't mean that it's right. But outside of that, if you were running your own business, you were better off under Pinochet. If you were creating a product, you were better off. If you were engaging in trade with other nations and you wanted to be able, you were better off than you were under the Marxists, assuming the violence is equal.
Yes, if you're a businessman, you will be more off under a fascist dictator than you will under Marxists. How is that the good selling point that you're making here? You're a businessman. You'll be better under a capitalist than a communist. Fucking duh, bro. Fucking duh. Wow. Fucking fork founding kitchen. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, what were we?
1990.
Yeah.
There for quite a while. And I'm sure there were a few re-elections in there that would be, questionable. Oh, you're still here? And you're still watching this on YouTube? You've probably noticed something is missing by now. I'm not here. That's because...
Bro, that has to be the most bad faith video I've seen in a long fucking time. That was an hour long of me having to talk about how fascists and dictators are bad. This is where we are in America. We talk about how fascists and dictators are bad. What the fuck is wrong with this country? What the fuck is wrong with what is wrong with our national dialect that we're having with each other? This is a dialogue with each other. This is awful. This is awful that you need to talk about how fascists are bad. All right. I'll leave that there. If you stuck to the end, fucking God bless you for putting up with that amount of soy-pilled bullshit. All right. Thank you all for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, comment, subscribe, whatever the hell you want to do. I'll see you guys in the next video. Hopefully it won't be another 4 months until I upload again. Goodbye.